cow. You got to be fucking kidding me, man. Man, that's a big time deal there. Holy cow. 15 million. So before we bring Zander in here, by the way, please stop with the DMs on TJ Watt. The chances of TJ Watt playing for you are as good as JJ Watt playing for you. There's a better chance that JJ Watt would play for you before you would get TJ Watt. Hey, yeah, let me spend two guys with $40 million on them. What do you think? This is the offense? All right. With all that being said, I'll tell you what, man. I learned a lot about my Sixers today. Holy shit, man. I learned a lot about Joel Embiid and where they're going in the draft. I was like, holy shit here, man. You should have seen Zander, too. Poor guy's face. I thought he was choking on a bone. With all that being said. And by the way, he likes the Sixers. He does. He's a Sixer guy, but I think Sixer talk gags him right now. It's like acid reflux. Okay? Without further ado, my boy, Big Z, Zander Krause, man. How you doing?
What up, Big Sil? You're not hating, are you, Big? Yo, by the way, my bad, man. At the open of the show, I start the show. I'm like, let me go to, take a quick piss. And I guess I had the settings set for the music to repeat. I come back in the studio. I hear the music still. I'm like, uh-oh, that's not good. That's not good. My bad, Big Silly. My bad, brother.
Oh, good, man. I thought it was funny as shit, man. I mean, I did. I actually did. Let me start you with this. Dude. I mean, I trust John because John's around that team all the time and he hears things and there's things he can't say because he is a rider that's in the pit. You know, there's conversation with coaches that you don't want out because you're trying to build relationships. And believe me, I respect the position that these beat writers are in. However, really, you're going to go and say 3 years, $45 million at 15 annually for Reed Blankenship when you just drafted Andrew Makuba and you're praying Sidney Brown play. Now, let me ask you, don't you think they'd let this thing? I don't believe. Zander, kick my ass if this turns out to be false. I don't believe they're signing him until the offseason.
Yeah. John it's one of those things John seems really confident in, but you're not wrong in terms of your thought process. I mean, you spent a third rounder and a second rounder in consecutive years or that, two of the last 3 years. And now you're going to pay the undrafted guy. I don't know. I mean, when you got all these other dudes, I hear you. I mean, I definitely understand where you're coming from, but I think Reed, to his credit, has played himself into the contract as compared to Sidney Brown, who hasn't quite taken the steps forward that maybe the Eagles would have wanted to see to feel better about letting him walk. Now, when you have that, maybe they are thinking about paying Reed because of that, but I do think it would show you that they're not in on Sidney Brown. I mean, it's got to be one or the other on those
That's
guys.
right. Well, it's one or the other. Yeah,
you're either believing that Sidney Brown is going to take that job or you're paying Reed Blankenship. And I think they're going to pay Reed. I'm going to disagree with you that they wait till next year because I think you can get him at a discount right now. Like, I think you can. I feel like he can.
They did that with Vaughn.
Vaughn signed a 1-year deal last year. He had never played in Philly before. It was a much different circumstance.
Never was a starter.
The other difference, though, is like Milton. They wanted to pay Milton last year.
They did. I heard that.
They wanted to pay him $15 million. He said no.
But Milton knew he was going to be worth more in the open market.
Yeah, but it's still a bargain. I mean, or it's still a risk. I mean, if I'm going into the year, I could get hurt. Anything could happen. You know what I mean? So he bet on himself and cashed out big. Now, maybe Reed looks at that and says, I'd rather cash out in the open market. I'm not taking $8-9 million to stay in Philly. I could probably get 18 or 16 million on the open market. I don't think he can get that. I think he's one of those players that sometimes you're more appreciated where you are versus where other people, value you. And he's in a good team with a great coordinator who's brought the most out of the player with great talent around him that's accentuating, by the way, his abilities and his ability to earn later into his career. If I'm Reed Blankenship, I'm taking the deal. But I understand where you're coming from.
How about this? Let me go here. Do you think that Milton Williams is going to have the same impact in New England that he had in Philadelphia this past season?
Absolutely not.
Then why would you think that Reed Blankenship would have an impact somewhere else at $15 million?
Well,
why would you think that? Or why would he think that then?
Yeah, that's just the kind of the way the market goes, right? I mean, he might not be worth that, but he might get paid that. There's a lot of dumb teams in this league, Sills.
And and that's a take that people had in here that, hey, Sills, you're trying to tell me of the 32 general managers, there's not three dumbasses out there? There are three dumbasses out there. I mean, absolutely here. I want to ask you this.
But here's one thing I'll say though about this. I think Reed and Milton are different. While you can draw comparisons, I think they're different from a sense of Reed's upside in terms of what he could make on the open market doesn't touch what Milton Williams's was at north of $25 million. And when I say that, I mean, if you're Reed, would you rather stay in this defense, in this system, with this talented football team, and maybe earn $8 million for the next 6 years?
Yes.
Or would you rather take $15 million somewhere else? You're cut in 2 years, and you're back on the open market fighting for scraps. Like, if you're Reed, I think you're in a different boat. Milton Williams signed life-changing money. That's a different scenario. If I'm Reed and I stay in Philly, you might extend your window for earning NFL money by 3 years.
You'll clearly extend your playing career.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So for a player like that, a guy who's undrafted, a guy who's gotten the role he's gotten here as a captain, as a leader, as a guy where your defensive coordinator got the most out of you, I wouldn't go. But I understand it's a business and there's a lot of variables.
Well, isn't this basically the same situation TJ Edwards was in? He was an undrafted guy too. He bet on himself. And
a little bit. I mean, the Eagles didn't want to pay him.
He signed a multi-contract up. He just signed a new extension.
Yeah, the only difference with him, though, is that the Eagles never wanted to pay him. Like, the Eagles want to pay Reed. Now, maybe they don't want to pay him a whole lot, but they want to pay him.
They want the player.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. They could have easily signed TJ Edwards. They clearly didn't want the guy. They didn't want he made $7 million or something after he had a great season here.
But I never understood that. They rather have a trash can linebacker group than pay the guy. That's how Howie thinks, though, man. He brought in a trash can linebacker unit when they even got rid of Kaiser White. They had 300 tackles between the two guys, and he sacrificed that year. So, again, I mean, let me ask you something here on this. So, am I right when I say this? Help me out on my memory on this. Was that Milton Williams' first year starting last year?
Yeah. Technically.
Okay. So what if Moro Jomo has that same type of year Milton Williams has, and he's eligible for free agency at the end of the year? And that guy pulled.
No.
Oh, so he's not part of your future.
No. Hey.
So Moro Jomo. So Moro Jomo's not part of your future?
Nah, man. Not when you got Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Quinyon Cooper, Zach Vaughn's under contract. You got options at linebacker. You're talking about paying a safety, Reed Blankenship. You just drafted Ty Robinson in the 4th round. I mean, I'm sorry, but there's no way. Unless you're taking cheap money, he's gone. But he's got 2 years left.
He's eligible for an extension.
But, well, he'll be eligible for an extension after this year, but he is under contract for another year. He, in a way, he's 1 year ahead of Milton. Like he's going to have the opportunity that Milton had a year earlier in his career, which is higher value for the Eagles. By the way, that was you could argue the pick of Moro Jomo, if he has a good year this year, at 7th round, was a better pick than Milton Williams was in the 3rd round because you only got 1 year of Milton starting. You got significant snaps from Moro last year, and now you have 2 years of him starting. Now, that's no guarantee he plays good. The guy could stink on ice as a starter. I don't think he will, but he could. Sandra, that's a good draft pick.
If you get the same type of year or a little bit of a drop-off, and not a lot, and you're 5th in defense,
Yeah.
it's not quite the Mulata pick, but you're talking about another grand slam of a 7th-round pick. That's why I say one thing about your team. Once you get drafted there, no matter what round you go in, you get the ability to be able to make that ball team when you're in Philadelphia, whether you're a 1st-round pick or you're a 7th-round pick. So let me ask you this one here now. Okay, so Andrew Makuba and Jahad Campbell. Do you believe that those 2 players are going to give you the same type of year that you had a year ago with Q and Coop?
No for a 3rd time, and I'll give you a no for a 4th time. Okay, there is a 0% chance you have the impact that we got last year.
Crazy.
We got crazy impact from our 1st and 2nd round pick. Like, you're not getting that again. There's no way in hell. So I'm not even gonna.
The Rams actually did too.
Yeah, it's true. The Ram boy, Les Snead, he can draft, man.
But he got those 2 tackles. He got the 2 D linemen, and he got that kid Cameron Kitchens, who also started for him and was a Player of the Year twice, or Player of the Week twice in the NFC. So they had 3 rookies starting.
Yeah.
On that team.
I mean, look, RCR says, Vic's here. You don't know that, Zay. Look, you're right. I don't know shit, RCR. I'm just up here speculating and giving you my opinion. But if you had to put a gun to my head and said, are they going to be as good as your guys were last year? I'm going to say, no freaking way. And you can also add in like the objective reality of the situation where Jahad's not as healthy as Quinyon was. Makuba isn't, well, he could play as much as, you could maybe look at Jahad as the comp to what Cooper was, hurt early in the year, and Makuba will be ready to go. I mean, if he's starting week 1, he could have the ability to make that impact. So maybe, I guess, I'm going to put it at 4%.
Hey, I think they're good players. I do. I don't think they're bad ball players. But I'll tell you this.
I don't think so either.
I tell you, but I don't know. When I saw the draft,
we had a special group last year, man, and special groups are called special for a reason. Like if you get it every year, it's not really special. That's the whole point. So you had a special unit last year, and everything clicked. I think the team is going to be really good. I think the defense has a chance to be really good. I don't think it's going to click to the same level it did last year. And to be perfectly blunt, I still think we can be successful without it clicking to that level. I mean, but how successful, I think, is another question. Maybe we don't blow out the Super Bowl. Maybe we win the Super Bowl by 1 touchdown this year. What?
Oh, you're going to Super Bowl. All right. Hey, I'll put this out there to you now. Who had the bigger impact on your defense a year ago, Carter or Bond?
You can make an argument that the added impact was bigger from Bond because you kind of knew what you were going to get from Carter. Right, like Bond kind of came out of nowhere and added.
He was drafted to do that.
That's not to diminish what Carter did. All right, so for all the people who are like, "Oh my God, Vader, you're dumb as shit," Carter. I know the point of that. The way Sileo phrased that question though is asking a different thing.
That's right.
We didn't know what Bond was going to be. He added more.
Vic didn't know.
No, I know. So. He added more on top of what we anticipated beyond really our wildest expectations. Let's be real. I mean, even if I told you last year at the start of the year, we're going to have a first-team All-Pro linebacker this year, we still wouldn't have thought it looked that good. It was plausible before the year last year that Jalen Carter would be an All-Pro. If I told you that, we would say, that's a big jump, but yeah, he's got that type of talent. So that's where I think Bond separates himself, is that the expectation was so much lesser on that player. So, yeah, I think Bond's the answer to that question.
Hit the like button, guys. Supers go to the top. Please, we need them. We like you and we love you. Please, we appreciate you being here with us. I got to ask you Nick's role here. With the OC, Kevin Patullo, how much of a leash do you think Nick and the organization is going to give Kevin Patullo this year? Do you think it's going to be a full season deal like they did with Brian Johnson? Or do you think because there's so much of an emphasis right now where you've got to sit here and go like this. I mean, Zander, the pressure to win a Super Bowl, not the pressure to win the NFC East. It's the pressure to win the Super Bowl is on you right now because you want to maximize everything you're doing. How much do you think Nick is the watchdog to this right now on Kevin Patullo? Because he got involved with Brian Johnson.
Yeah, he did. And the other thing is, I think the organization maybe threw Nick a bone with Patullo and kind of said, all right, you can get your guy again. Now they felt good about him. I'm sure they vetted him before.
I'm sure they did.
I'm sure they vetted him before they told Nick, hey, you can make your pick. They knew what he was doing before, he knew. I think the leash is I think at least a full season. Now, I don't know. If you come out of the gate and
you didn't give Nick 4 games and 4 people were not you, but people didn't give Nick
different time,
4 games. Now they were coming off the meltdown.
All right, let me ask you this. Let me establish something real quick. What do you think the floor of the offense is? With all the talent around it, what's the floor?
12 passing,
Floor?
2 running. Yeah.
No, the floor for passing is lower than that.
Really? 12th is middle of the room.
28th last year, 29th.
Yeah, but if they're 12th and you're second in rushing.
I'm talking floor, though. Are you saying ceiling or floor?
You're talking floor.
Floor. I'm talking the worst you think they could be. If Patullo stinks, with all the talent they have, what's the floor of the offense? Is it 20th? Is it 18th?
It's 25th passing and it's 1 rushing.
Well, floor rushing is probably 10.
I don't know. With that old line,
I don't know if that's good. I don't know if that's low enough.
That old line ain't in. If that offensive line and that running game ain't in the top 2, somebody got hurt badly. And
my point with that question is, if let's just say they're 15th or 18th on offense, I don't know if that's bad enough to get them fired midseason. Now, if they don't reach expectations or they're not a good offense and it doesn't look pretty and they get bounced in the playoffs or they completely miss expectations, he will be fired after 1 year.
How about if Hurts 29th again in passing and they don't make the Super Bowl and he hasn't improved the passing game and they're 29th again? You're asking,
are they still a good team?
Well, yeah, they're going to win 11, 12 ball games.
That's a tougher answer. I think they could still maybe fire him. Remember, Brian Johnson, everybody got fired with the 8th overall offense. He was the 8th best offense in football, and he was fired.
Right. 11 games, and they won 11 games.
Sileo's got an interesting point on Patullo. We'll see what ends up. We'll see. I don't know what kind of leash. It's an interesting question for sure.
Because, again, the pressure for them to improve, because I think there's more of the offense has to, if the offense plays up to the talent level that you have on your, you know what the offense reminds me of a little bit of? Jordan Davis. So much ability. But yet you were so one way last year. You ran the ball in the passing game. You just went like this. We're going to hang on one side of the ball, and we don't give a shit about balance. And by the way, it was a philosophy that totally worked. Will that same philosophy work again? Where you say this, fuck the passing game, we're going one-dimensional again. Because for 17 weeks, they were one-dimensional, dude, with some spotty games. But again, I go back to you and I go, hey, man, they won the Super Bowl. You have to always underscore it with that. All right, well, let me ask you this. How much patience do you think Vic Fangio will have with Keely Ringo?
Silly's got some good questions today. Good questions today. Can't be too big, right? I mean, how long are you going to keep a corner in there that would be a liability? If he is alive,
first 4 games is Dak, Mahomes, you got Stafford, and you got Mayfield.
You got passers. You have 4 passers. Yep. You got 4 passers coming in who spread the ball around the yard.
With great talent
3
in
games.
The huddles.
I say 3 games. If Ringo stinks through the first 3 games and doesn't show any signs of improvement, I could see Vic making a switch. The question is, if you sound the alarm, that's my next question. If you sound the alarm, are they looking for a free agent? Are they looking for a trade? Are like
Coop?
Coop. Yeah, if Coop saves the day on this defense again, build that guy a statue. He will own this city. He will own this city.
I'm just saying. I mean, there's question marks here. Now, here, I have one more for you. How much of a leash is Vic going to have on Trotter?
I think his leash is built in longer because there's a reason though, because he's not the starter, right? He's the starter by way of injury. Keely Ringo's the starter.
He's
Makuba
holding
right
the
now.
fort down.
Exactly. He's holding the fort down. I think you have different expectations or different wants out of a player that you need to be a placemat, basically, until you get Nakobe back, Jihad back, and those guys back. And then I think, that changes things a little bit more for the way Vic will handle that. So I think it's probably a little longer, honestly, on Trotter.
Okay, I got two more for you. Guys, super chats. Also, please hit the like button. Is it me, Zander? Oh, by the way, I thought it was just absolutely fabulous listening to Joe Theismann yesterday talking about
I love Joe Theismann, but fuck you, Joe.
Receivers and pro football, and Terry McLaurin was in there with the top 5 receivers, and pro football was the great Terry McLaurin. Oh my God.
It was a shit take, man.
MVP of the NFL, Super Bowl champion, 2-time NFC champion, telling you that Terry McLaurin. Oh, by the way, how about him chirping at AJ, reading War and Peace on the sideline there?
I never knew Joe Theismann was a communist, unfortunately.
I never knew Joe Theismann to be a shit talker until he goes, what's that guy doing on the sideline? Reading, nothing like Big Sills reading the book there with his picture. I don't really read the book. I just see my picture all the time. So anyway, I'm more of a picture guy. I'm just saying, I mean, Terry McLaurin, top 5. How'd that taste? Wow.
It's objectively wrong. The guy is not a top 5. Come on, Sileo. You come find 5 receivers, you take over Terry McStinkler. Come on, man. He's not that good.
AJ Jefferson.
Jamar.
Chase.
CD.
Yeah, CD. You know what I'm gonna say? I think this guy's gonna have a fucking massive year. And you know who that is?
Who?
Who do you think I'm gonna pick is gonna have a massive
I think you're about to pick McLaurin.
No.
Massive year. AFC or NFC?
NFC. You play him too.
Not in division, right?
No. First 4 games of the year.
Puka Nacua.
Nope, the other guy.
Devontae Adams.
Yep.
That was where I was thinking.
I bet you that guy has, with Stafford, he's going to bounce back and have a fucking massive year, man. Yeah. He is a really good.
Where was he last year?
Raiders. Shitty Raiders.
And then they sent him to the Jets.
Yeah. Then
this is his best situation since he was with Prime A-Rod in Green Bay.
Yeah, that's right. So here's where I was going with Devontae. Bro, is it me or do you want to see more Devontae involved in the passing game? And what I mean, look, AJ I'm with you. I want that guy. If it's not Barkley, I want that guy. There's no question. However, don't you want more volume to eventually start going to him as the guy you want in the offense, Zander, to be more involved in it? I mean, there's games where he has goose eggs. I want this guy to be more involved. I want him to be part of the offense more so. And I just want to see him more involved.
I want him too, but is it self-serving and is it my ego talking? Like, that's not the team we have. You know what I mean? And the way that we built the team ultimately has worked more than any other team we've built in Eagles history. So it's hard for me to look and say, I do agree at surface level, I want Devontae more involved. But is that a selfish desire? You know what I mean? Like, that's not Jalen's game, one. He's not that type of passer. It's not the way the Eagles are built with their offensive line and their running back now. And it's not the way our team flows. So what do I sacrifice to get Devontae Smith the ball more? You know, is it too much? Do you go to 1,400 yards for Smitty, but you start losing more football games? Like, I don't want that. I think you're walking a fine line with that player.
I got one last one here for you.
Well, what do you think about that?
I do. I think you're right. I think he'll evolve into that as the decision on the move off of AJ, what year that'll be, this year or the following year. I think they'll gradually have that generically start to evolve into it. Like you said, they know what the player is. They know what the player they believe can be. They gave him that contract. Dude, get this. They gave him that fucking contract for a reason. I mean, this guy's on like a Supreme Court contract. This guy's going to retire a Philadelphia Eagle now. So I got one more for you here. I'm going to show you something here. I had forgotten this. On the morning show in Tampa, I brought this up. So you just signed, by the way, Todd just got a 3-year contract at 15.5.
Who?
Reported. Todd Bowles got 15.5.
Oh, good. I love Todd Bowles.
Here's something I will ask you. I was immediately reminded of this. In 2007, the Glazers, who owned the Buccaneers, gave John Gruden and Bruce Allen, the general manager, 3-year contract extensions. That 2008 season, it imploded. They fucking fired him at the end of the year. Okay? Who's under more pressure this year? Nicky Sirianni or Jalen Hurts? I'm not saying to fire Hurts or anything. But just because he signed that 3-year contract, when you got owners like that guy and the guy down in Tampa, these fuckers want to win. They'll eat dead money.
Yeah, look,
eat it.
The funniest part about this is a good trait that the owner has. And fans might not like it or might not like hearing, but this is part of what he's done that's allowed him to continue to pursue excellence. And where you bring up a good point on Jalen is, you just brought up a little bit ago on Petula. What if they have the 31st ranked passing offense and they don't win the Super Bowl? Well, do you think there's any questions? And I'm not speculating anything. Is there any questions happening behind closed doors at the NovaCare complex about the $51 million quarterback? Is there any? I think there would be. I'm not saying he's under more pressure than Nick. I think Nick is the easier person to fire.
It is.
But remember, Jalen, let me look up his contract and see where he is.
I think it's
now, I don't think he's in trouble at all. So people are going to be
I don't. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that. But guess what? This is the business of the NFL.
Yeah, you're not moving on from Jalen Hurts, my friend. After this year, the dead cap hit would still be $85 million.
No, but what that would do is put more pressure on the coach to be the right coach for him, too.
Well, the pressure's on the coach.
They would sacrifice the coach, even with those 2 years remaining on his contract that he has, that they would bring in somebody that they would feel more comfortable. Bro, like you said, they're not looking to move off of Hurts ever, but they would move off of this guy because, like I said, when you bring in a brand new offensive coordinator, and you have the 30th ranked and you come off a Super Bowl, the expectation, Zander, is not winning the East. You're not like the Bucks. Hey, let's win the NFC South. That's their barometer. Okay? And it's a shitty division. Your barometer is how well you do now because you've been to 2 of the games in 3 years, and you've got to do this. I had forgotten. John Gruden reminded me of this. Hey, I signed a 3-year contract extension. Had $9 million a year. They fired me after the year. I had 2 years remaining on that deal. I don't believe any coaches, especially in Philly, would they move? Do you think if that thing imploded, they would move off of Nick?
I think they'd move a coordinator first.
Okay.
I think Nick earned at the very least another season. I honestly think it's 2 seasons he's earned. But remember, they fired Doug 3 years after winning, so maybe it could be quicker. Maybe they thought that was a successful move to move on from Nick. The interesting part about the power dynamic is, like, if they fire Nick again, or if they did fire Nick at some point in the future, I think it would really solidify, like, publicly, that the Eagles are not defined by their coach or their quarterback. They're defined by the front office, the owner, and the general manager. And for guys that have egos, I think every guy, to some extent has an ego and wants to feel valuable. It's very obvious this front office and this, wants to feel that. So maybe that would be a part of it, but I don't think they could fire Nick, dude. I don't think so. I just don't. I mean, the guy's 50-20. He's got a Super Bowl. He's been to 2. I know you put a great roster around him, but fire him at one bad year. I mean, let's be real. Nick's worst year, it was his first year, but in the last 3 years,
I don't count that year.
What was viewed as an objective failure was an 11-win season.
I know the Jets would scream on that.
Yeah, and that's why I think the pressure's higher on him, because you've set the bar so high. There's pressure on other coaches, but again, like you just brought up Todd Bowles. I mean, pressure to win what, 10 games there?
Well, no.
Nick's pressure is like, you got to fucking go to the NFC title game or it's a flop.
No, this is what I said about Bowles. Someone goes like this, because this is what they said about Tony Dungy. When Tony Dungy was the head coach of the Buccaneers, this was the comment. You know what? Tony can get you there. He built the team. He really did a nice job with the staff. Mike Tomlin was on that staff. Lovie Smith was on that staff. Herm Edwards, all those great coaches were on. He did such a great job, but Tony wasn't the guy. And I said, Todd Bowles is in that same boat now that Tony Dungy was in. Tony Dungy didn't get his respect until he went to Indianapolis and won the Super Bowl. He didn't get it in Tampa ever. He never got it in Tampa. He got it when Manning delivered the Super Bowl to him, and everyone said finally he was able to cross the line. Okay, I got it. Well, Todd wants to get – if Todd Bowles wants that kind of respect, you got to fucking win a Super Bowl. You can't be winning NFC South titles. You know what you know what I'm doing now? I'm bringing the standard of what you guys have done here in Philly, and I'm looking at it like I tell the people in Tampa, I go like this. When you talk to these fucking people in Philadelphia, these people are talking about winning Super Bowls. You know what you're talking about winning? You're talking about beating the Falcons.
Yeah, it's true.
There's a different fucking room.
Yeah, it's a good thing, Philly. That's a good thing.
That's a great thing. You're talking about Super Bowls. They're talking about beating Atlanta. That's how think of this, Zander. That's how a lot of teams around the NFL are talking. Unlike you guys, you're talking about, hey, is there too many changes on the – let me ask you this last one. Then we'll get to some supers. And guys, please hit the like button. Have there been too many changes, in your opinion, for that defense to be elite? 5 new starters.
No, it's an uphill battle, but it's not impossible. I mean, I think they still have the core. I think they still have Bond, Carter, with Quinyon and Cooper, with Reed, actually, with Nolan and Jalix having experience. They're going to have to take a big step forward with the coordinator coming back. I don't think it's impossible. No, I don't think it's too much. I mean, I do think it's an uphill battle, and I'm acknowledging that it's a challenge to do what they did last year. I mean, they could have brought back all the same guys. Let's be real, and it would be a challenge to do.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, if they brought back everybody, they probably wouldn't be as good as they were last year. So it's an uphill battle, but some part of me, and I don't know if this is my Eagle fan in me or
it's Vic.
Well, it's that, but some part of me, and maybe I'll acknowledge, maybe this is Eagle fan driven. It doesn't feel like it is, but I think the upside is higher. It doesn't mean it's going to be realized this year, but I think the upside with this group and the players they have and the youngsters and the talent,
you're faster.
The upside's massive. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to realize it, but I do think they're in a good spot.
You're faster.
Faster, younger, stronger. Smaller in some spots.
Less experienced, though. That plays a
Less
factor.
experienced. Less
Okay?
experienced.
You got 5 dudes that never started it down in the NFL.
Yeah, that's true. That's a lot, man.
That's a lot. But like you just said, you're younger and faster. And you said something earlier today that you just made I think because you're learning here and you're really killing it. But Zander,
Thank you, Sills.
when you fucking talk about a young player that plays on a championship team and gets that championship modem in his brain, and you talk about a guy with a lack of experience, even Keely Ringo, even Sidney Brown, even when you're in that fucking environment of championship football, it becomes like a fungus and it becomes like a disease where it's a good thing. You're in a championship setting. You're in a championship. You walk to get your drills. You get your shoulder pads on a different way.
Being a winner is a lifestyle, my friend.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a lifestyle.
You walk to your meetings as a champion. You go to your dining hall as it becomes.
It reminds me of Sills. I wake up and I piss excellence, Sileo.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you live it, if you walk it, you'll live it, you'll be it.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I mean, and so those young kids being in that environment, Zander, they may not have started, but they've been raised in it. You've been raised in that environment, bro.
It is. It's valuable. It is valuable.
It totally is when you're in an environment like that. All right, let's read some supers here.
Kyle Kukurski. What up, Kyle? How you doing, brother? He says, so does the Steelers cornerbacks come with a life alert bracelet?
Hey, I've fallen and I can't get up. I mean, dude, I'm going to say it again to you. You got to get a geriatric quarterback. I mean, I'm seriously, man, the Grand Slam meal at Denny's is really going to be popular in Pittsburgh this year because these fucking guys are old as hell, man.
Marcus checking in. What's up, Marcus? Howie has 13 picks in next year's draft. He's leaning on Vic to help find talent. No way he's bringing a Jomo back. I agree.
Yeah, okay, well, 13 picks will be used for what side of the ball? I will tell you this. Half those picks they won't use.
And some will be used on offense. They're going to have to start replenishing the offense. They have one of the cheapest defenses in football right now. So that's going to change. I mean, it's the cheapest defense because they're all rookies. They're all on rookie contracts. So that's going to change.
Okay, well, if Hunt and Nolan Smith pan out, you're not going edge. Okay? Is it corner again?
You have Ringo for another 2 years. You have Trotter, Munden, Vaughn under contract, Jahad Campbell.
Is it Carter or White?
It's probably edge. It's still probably edge because right now your backup edges are Uche and Ojulari. You'll probably get some youth in there.
Even if Hunt and Nolan Smith play well?
Well, they're going to be your starters. What about your third, fourth, and fifth guys?
We're not going to draft those guys in the fucking first round.
No, not in the first round.
Oh, okay,
the first round could be
corner.
Dare I say wideout?
That's what I said. I think it's corner or wideout. Hey, well, dude, you got to start paying money.
You all to listen very closely. JAKIB Nation.
I'm telling you.
I need you all to show up because you can already think about all the fires that Sileo is creating in his head. He's got a bucket of gasoline. He's going to be pouring that gasoline all over. And it is our job to shut him up.
I got him written down. I got him written down here. Hey, believe me, this year, I have written this fucking shit down.
Oh, yeah,
and I'm holding everybody accountable.
I got all your shit takes written down too to see how you pan out this year. Because let me tell you, guy,
you're talking about
wait a second. You're talking about this wait a second. You're talking about this defense bouncing back. I'm the business owner here. I might have to have a look and say, hey, is my guy gonna bounce back? Because that guy just logged one of the worst seasons I've ever seen. Mr. Sileo.
I will tell you this. Right now, I'm Shohei fucking Ohtani right now, who hit his 30th, by the way, yesterday. That's who I am right now. Shohei Ohtani's got 30 homers before the break.
I know. It's amazing. Dude, you're like Max Kepler crying about playing time. Are you fucking kidding me right now, dude? You got a fucking long way to go. You got a long way to go.
I think it could be Phillies in I talked to Bobby Valentine today. You know what Bobby Valentine said? He think the Phillies are going to be right there because of their starting. Dude,
That's why. That's
that
the only
fucking
reason
guy
everybody's saying
Wheeler.
Yeah.
I
Wheeler's
looked at his
insane.
ERA the last like 6 years.
He's incredible.
Bro,
Dude,
he's the best arm in the game.
He just logged one of the best months for a Phillies pitcher, and I don't even know how long. I mean, Luzardo's hot. He can pitch. Ranger Suarez has been lights out. He's probably earned his way into a new contract. I mean, you got depth on that team. You do. You Christopher Sanchez. I mean, how did I leave him out? He's pitching like a gem this year. So they got a lot of starting pitchers, but that bullpen makes me nervous. And the streakiness of the lineup. The lineup is a little streaky for my liking.
Yeah,
all right. Now, I think the team is built good, and if they get hot at the right time, I think they have a really good chance to go the distance. But you can't be streaky in the playoffs.
Can I tell you why they're streaky? They're streaky because they do the walk of shame too much. They strike out too much.
That's their pitching coach. That's Kevin Long. He wants all home runs, and they've taken small ball out of the game.
Yep.
And the ironic part about the Phillies lineup is when I look at their lineup, I believe they're built for small ball. Yep. They got Trey Turner. You got your home run hitter in Schwarber. You got guys who can put bat on the ball and like Alec Boehm and guys like that. Play the small ball a little bit, man.
I think Schwarber's in the wrong spot of the lineup. I think he needs to be deeper in the lineup because you can't have a 216 hitter or whatever the fuck he is at the top of the lineup. I think that's a mistake.
It's hard to argue with the results that Schwarber's had, but I agree with you. I mean, at its surface, remember at the beginning of the season,
I'm trying to get him on base.
Yeah, and I said something about Schwarber that I was dead wrong about, and I'm like, I was surprised that they brought him back because for basically what you just said, I thought they wanted to move the $35 million Trey Turner into the starting, that first spot and build their lineup in a more traditional way, but they didn't go that route. And obviously Schwarber, I think, is playing himself into another contract. He's one of my favorite Phillies, so I do not want him gone, but I do think you're right. I mean, but look, this is my worry with the streakiness. It's one thing to be macro streaky and go on month runs and maybe have a couple week drought. They're streaky and they're intra-streaky. Like you remember a couple years ago, we were up 3-2 on the Diamondbacks in the playoffs, and we came home to close the series out. I was at Game 6, the closeout game, and they lost 2 straight games in Citizens Bank Park to the fucking Diamondbacks.
I know.
That was our year to win the World Series, by the way. I think the Diamondbacks blew the doors off the Texas Rangers to win the World Series. If we win one of those games in Citizens Bank Park, we'd probably be talking about a World Series championship in the city of brotherly love that year. But they got so streaky and they went completely nowhere in those 2 games, and we lost a series. You can't be that streaky to where one game you're this, and then the very next game you're this bad. That's my issue with the whole streakiness.
The one thing you said about Schwarber, okay. I saw somebody in here going, he's in a good spot because he's got 28 home runs. He's also got 100 strikeouts and 300 at bats. And he's hitting 240. You got a 240 hitter at the top of your lineup with 100 Ks already. He's on pace for 250 strikeouts. Yeah. What Zander just said, the objective is to get people on base and play some small ball and knock people around and get to be able to score more runs. And you know how you stop being streaky? You play all types of baseball. You bunt your way across. You move the runner over. They don't do any of that. It's either big souvenir or it's strikeout. Yeah. And they're leaning on their pitching. And one thing that Dave Dombrowski always suffers on is bullpen. Okay, we'll see how it holds up. Well, again,
this is a great comment right here. Small ball is like the run game.
Yes, that's exactly right.
By the way, I misspoke. It was the Rangers who won that year. My bad.
Hey, listen, you know what small ball does? It stops those streaks Xander's talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
When you're
streaking, put a bat on the ball. Stop getting it, trying to hit it out of the park. Put the fucking bat on the ball and put the ball in play. Do that a couple of times and let the chips fall where they may. They don't do any of that. I mean, that's old school fundamental baseball right there.
That's what the Yankees do too. The Yankees do that shit. They're big.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the Yankees are a decent team with the best player, second best player in the game. Okay. And that's what they have. I mean,
look, Zeal, you can tell Zeal's on top of this with the baseball team because, he's right. How about just playing good fundamental baseball? Why are we trying to reinvent the way the game has been played? Just play good fundamental baseball. They don't really do that though. So, but look, I do think they got a good roster, and I think you're right about the starting pitching. If you got four of those starting pitchers that are playing that good, you're going to have a chance to win every single game. Now, whether they do it, that's another question, but you're right. They do have a chance.
listen to this shit with the Rays. The Rays don't have like a really big time starter. What they have is these opener guys, and they're a game and a half back of the Yankees in the East. And get this, their payroll $68 million.
No, it's crazy. That team is crazy.
How the fuck do you do that, man, when you're competing with $250 million payrolls? It just it blows. The Phillies have a $238 million payroll. Is that right? It's something up there like that. It's one of the biggest payrolls next to the Padres.
The Phillies are up there.
And
Phillies
next to the Dodgers and Yankees.
Mets are up there. Dodgers are up there. I forget who
Dodgers have the most.
Dodgers are the most. I think Phillies are third, maybe. Yankees might be 2 or 3.
Yep.
I think the Mets are 2.
Yep.
Yankees maybe 3.
The
Phillies
Soto deal. The Soto deal put them over because that $750 million deal.
Rolls. Let me look that up.
Yeah, I think the Phillies are 4th. Dude, the Padres, man.
Dodgers 1, Mets 2, Yankees 3, Phillies 4, Blue Jays 5. That's right. Blue Jays spent a boatload of money.
Blue Jays are winning a shitload of ball games now. They're back of the American.
They better be winning. They're spending $250 million too.
How many games a year do you go to, Zander?
Phillies? Not many. I used to go to more. I went to one this year. It was for I wasn't really my doing. It was I went with my girlfriend and her family. For her mom was a big Phillies fan, so we sat at the game. Went to the game last couple weeks ago. So it was a really good game. Mets game, rubber match. It was a great game. But I like playoff baseball. I'll definitely go. It all depends, Sills, honestly, on my connections in the industry. I'm not really a big, and I hope I don't sound like a conceited asshole saying this, but it's just one of the perks of working in this business is that radio stations get a lot of tickets, and they and so I get a lot of tickets from radio stations. And if I'm giving them, I go. If I'm not giving them, I don't really scout out going too much. Again, I hope I don't sound like a conceited asshole, but it's just one of the perks of the business. So I kind of go based on how many I get, Sills.
I love that, man, because listen, when I was a kid,
Rich, I'm only conceited if you can figure out how to spell the word Nimrod.
Oh, my God. All right. Hey, Gary Cobb right around the corner. We're going to get G Cobb up here in a second. Big Z, I thought the Sixer talk, man. The Sixer talk today on the show made you sick, didn't it? Because it wasn't that you didn't want to talk about it. It's the fact that you think they're just not a good organization.
Listen, like you said to me before the show, and I love you, Mike, and I love you, Johnny Mac. You don't walk into an Italian restaurant and order Chinese food. Although, I don't know if I can use that on this show because Sileo walks into Hooters and orders clams. So, does that even apply? But you're right. Listen.
I like clams. All right. I don't know. I know. Zander,
let me get the Hogan Super. Great text says Hogan. I think that's Hogan, right? Hogan, is that you, my friend? These stupid usernames keep switching back and forth. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day. Mets 1.19 mil till 2035. That was yesterday, right? July 1st.
That was yesterday. That was the first. But let me tell you here, brother. So in 1999, that's his last year, there was a payout of $5.9 million. Bonilla said this, with the 8% interest on it, he went like this. Well, let's defer this payment. So it started paying. Get this. For the last years, they will have paid him $50 million. I don't even know how that got to that. With the cost of living and over the next couple years, they would have paid him a total since 1990. They were paying him $1 million a year. Zander, what a great contract that you have on. Hey, people forget Bobby Bonilla and Bonds. They were on the same Pirates team. He went to the Mets and Bonds went to the Giants. So yeah, hold on here. Let's see what we got here.
Wait, I got to address one thing because it's just laughable. Bob, I'm sure you're a Flyers guy because you're Philly through and through. But yeah, Bob, Enjoy the 3 or number 4 overall pick, the guy who does the cute deeks and he can score goals. And who's the goalie you signed, Bob? What's the guy's name? Dan Vladar on a 2-year deal. Another. We hope he can be a good goaltender. And then when he fucking stinks, and all of Philadelphia is tweeting about how bad the goalie stinks, and the Flyers can't do anything, you can remember your boy Big Z, who told you you don't win meaningful hockey games without investing in the goaltender position. Dan Vladar, or whatever the hell the guy they signed is not gonna cut it.
And like I said, watching what's going on with the Panthers with your guy, yeah. So Gary said he's going to be with us in 5 minutes, so we got it held down here. Big Z, I'll tell you what. Do you have anything planned for fireworks?
No, see, it's kind of. I mean, look, 4th used to be a lot more fun, and I love the 4th. Don't get me wrong, but we rent the Cape May house, so we used to go to the Cape May house and for the 4th back when my grandma was alive and she managed the house. But now that she passed and it's jointly owned, they rent it out. So I don't really do much for 4th of July. I'm going to be pulling a big sills. I'm going to have my feet up on the couch. I might head down to my girlfriend's place in Ocean Shitty, unfortunately, for a little bit. And then I'll be ready to go on Monday, baby.
Don't you ever go on the water?
What do you mean? You can go. I don't own a boat or anything. I'm not a boat guy, so I've never done it. But my sister's boyfriend, who's a cool dude, he's got a boat. So sometimes we'll go out with him, but I haven't done it much. Dude, you can do it though. You can watch him from the water, yeah.
So when I was younger, man, I was always on the water for the 4th with my grandpa, and we were out in Long Island Sound, just me and him, sometimes my cousin, and we'd go out there. And what was really cool, I don't know if you've ever seen these, because when you go out, these sand dunes are out in the middle of the out in the Long Island Sound, and that's where all the clams are. So I jump in on the sand dune, the rolling sand dune, and you just start swooping up clams and bringing them in. My grandpa and I used to sit there on the boat and eat those during the 4th of July, which is just absolutely a great time. So anyway, bro, do you realize this? When we come back from the 4th, let me show you this here. It is today. It's 14 days until the Chargers report to training camp. So when we come back, it'll be a week that the Chargers report to training camp. This coming Monday will be 1 week that the Chargers report getting ready for the Hall of Fame game.
Amazing, man. I can't believe it's already here.
Dude,
I can't believe it's already here.
You were just on the fucking float. You were just on the damn back of the truck. They're sitting there just 2 weeks ago.
Oh, man.
I can't wait for this year. All right, Dick.
Did you wish you were in Philly for that?
Yeah, I wish I had done that.
That was fucking epic.
Hey,
that was like the greatest. That was easily the greatest day of my working life so far.
Yeah, that would. If I had to do that all over again, I'd done that.
Look at this dweeb. Tango Kid is scared of the water. Mo mommy, when Jacob keeps growing and we get bigger one day and I buy a boat, I know you're right in Atlantic City.
I'm going to run you over.
Or wherever the hell you are, Mo mommy. I just canceled your invite. All right? Everybody else in Jacob Nation is invited to the Big Z Boat Bash except for Mo mommy. All right?
I'm going to make one last prediction before you go. Are you ready? A.J. Brown says he's having a really great offseason. Things great. A.J. Brown by, let's see, week number 6. Here, folks, look at me. By week 6, here's AJ. Well, how come you're reading books on the sideline?
He's got a ring. He's got a ring. I don't think he's worried about it.
He got a ring on the back of Barkley. That's what he's got, a ring. Another guy that was a caboose. Another guy. Another guy who took a ride on the A train called the Saquon Barkley train.
Come on, Sileo.
Say, great stuff, bro. I will catch you in the morning, and I'm sure we'll have Flyers talk tomorrow. How you doing?
I want everybody in here to start the campaign to move Sileo back to the East Coast. All right, this guy is like, I don't even know. Like, his daughter's done college.
the West
He
Coast.
doesn't even have the excuse anymore that I'm waiting for my daughter to finish school, which I understand. Like, Sileo, come on back.
Can I tell you what
Come
I'm waiting for?
on back.
Wait,
Sileo.
can I tell you what I'm waiting for? You want to know? Okay, check this out.
Where's your Aunt Betty? I'm going to call your Aunt Betty when I get off here.
Hold on. My aunt's in here listening. I'm going to tell you what I'm waiting for. You're going to love this. This is a true story, and I'm going to tell everybody. This is something that I'm going to come clean on. So Jimmy Johnson owns 15 homes in Isle Morada. Okay? Isle Morada, the Keys. Okay? So check this out. He's already given one of the homes to Alonzo Highsmith. And he's already given one of the homes to another one of my teammates. Not given, it was rent to own. And Jimmy said that this guy's moving out in October, that I can have this house. It's right on the fucking water.
You better take him up on that.
I am. I have to, bro. I'll own a home in the Keys.
Are you a Keys guy?
Oh yeah.
You are?
Oh yeah.
I've only been to the Keys once, and it was Key West, and that's obviously not the key to go to.
Bro. Yeah, no, that's the tourist.
That's the tourist case.
Yeah, you got to go to Isle Morada. That's where, like, it's unbelievable, dude. And it's like,
I hope you go. I'll be much happier for you. I'll know that you're in a much better spot. I mean, Big Sills in Florida, living his best life.
Dude, and I'm gonna be like a couple hours away from the U.
Yeah, Bob. How many times have I told you, give yourself a pay raise? Get out of California.
Trust me, my aunt tells me that every day.
It's a built-in pay raise. Just gotta leave. That's it.
A tree hut in California costs $700,000. I mean,
dude, houses everywhere though. I mean, even here, it's like, I'm trying to.
Well, you're not in a very cheap tax district.
No, I'm not. I'm not cheap.
You're in a pretty high one. All right, Big Z. I appreciate you, brother.
All right, everybody. Bobby Brown, love you, brother. Everybody in the chat, appreciate all of you guys. Mo Mommy, get back to the lab, my friend. You're struggling in here. Love all you guys. Stills, love you, brother. See you, bro.
You got you too, man. Love you too, Big Z, man. Make sure you guys check the big show out. Birds 365, that is in the morning. We appreciate that. We thank you very much. By the way, we're going to wait for Gary Cobb here. So what we'll do is we'll do one of our commercials right now because, we got to make sure we hit on this because of Morgan & Morgan. Very happy that John Morgan and Morgan & Morgan is part of the program. With over $30 billion recovered for clients across the country, the reason that they are number one, my friends, is because why? They win. If you're ever injured, the number one injury law firm does not get paid unless you win. Simple as that. If you're hurt in an Uber, if you're hurt at your workplace, if you have insurance companies canceling your homeowner's insurance and then a disaster hits, don't let insurance companies off the hook. Don't let them off the hook. This is what Morgan & Morgan does. They go in and make sure that they get recovery for each and every single client. I tell you this with great passion because I know these folks. I've been around them for 25 years, and I know them, okay? I got to tell you, man, it's great. Make sure you check them out at forthepeople.com/Big Sills or #529. That's forthepeople.com/Big Sills or #529. Zander will take that really quick time out here, and we'll go right to Gary Cobb.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan.